The only reason why you're not able to achieve your goals is because of your limiting self beliefs and the talk that you do with yourself that's mainly negative. And now I get to hear this a lot. There are a lot of people like, oh, come on, that's how I think. Oh, that's how 99% people think. But then you have to have self awareness, and then you have to have the ownership of your life and change the way you think, change the way your perspective about life is. The way I changed my life, I mean, I literally changed my life for good. And that was all because the self talk that I did. This is Javeria, and welcome back to my channel, The Positive Journey. So, the followers on my Instagram mainly know that I keep on sharing positive affirmations now and then on my stories. So, today I'm going to talk about the importance of why those affirmations are very, very crucial in our lives and what role do they play in our lives. A few years back, if I talk about my journey, I was in a very dark space. I thought that maybe I was not worthy of anything. My relationships with myself and with others were crumbling. I have crippling anxiety. I was hopeless. I was helpless and had no control over my life. It was all because I did not know where my life was heading to. And I kept on saying to myself that maybe I'm just a loser, I'm a failure, I deserve this kind of life. And the loneliness that came with it was absolutely very disturbing. But later, am, I entirely changed the perspective and had a 360-degree mindset shift just because of the way I started speaking to myself, the way I started believing in myself. So, there's one thing that I experienced to vision my success and the goals of life. It is one thing, and that is embodying strong self belief and positive self talk. So, in this video, we're going to cover the science behind self talk, whether negative or positive. What are positive affirmations? Do they actually work? Strong sense of self worth versus limiting self beliefs. And in the end, my own strategies of how I adopted affirmations in my life, especially journaling in the morning and the prompts for those positive affirmations in the journaling technique. So stay tuned. What's the science behind self-talk? Is basically our subconscious mind doesn't know what's the reality, what are the facts. So it believes what you feed in your mind, whether positive or negative, to be true. So it's basically the neuroplasty of the brain. That's how the self-talk works, and adapting to new situations by the brain's neuroplasticity. So there are tons of researches. Scientists have been working and researching over and over again about this concept for almost so many decades. Like it's been 40 years. That's how the self-efficacy theory or self-affirmation theory came into place. So in times of threats, we maintain ourselves by defending against those conflictive environment of beliefs about other people by certain preconceived notions and certain beliefs that we have for our own selves. For example, there is a girl A who wants to establish a business, and then there is a girl B who has the same nudge and passion to establish a business. Girl A keeps on doubting her beliefs. She keeps on doubting her own self by making excuses like, maybe that I don't have money to invest. Maybe my idea is not as big. Maybe the market is too saturated. Maybe there's a lot of competition. Maybe there won't be enough sales, and that's where she's stuck. And she only works in a certain dynamic, keeping her business small forever. Whereas the girl B, she has a plan, and not just a plan, she's very excited about her new learning. So she says to herself that, you know what, I'm going to learn a lot in this. She does have fears, but then she talks very positively, keeping her self belief strong with herself, within her own inside self. And she crushes those negative self beliefs by saying to herself, you know what, let's smash this day. You know what, let's collaborate with so and so. Let's invest in so and so strategy. And that's where she achieves the success and the goal of her life. So, mainly, this is your anxiety also crippling in. For example, if you have watched Inside Out 2, you'll see the anxiety is projecting negative thoughts and negative self beliefs in Riley's mind.
So here in this scene, we see joy and the original emotions come onto this new space that's inside Riley's imagination. And it's an area that's being taken over by anxiety. She's working with all these mind workers to come up with worst case scenarios of what could happen the next day to Riley and how she could screw it all up.
Riley misses an open goal. Coach writes about her notebook. Yes! More like that. Oh no.
I call this entire technique as rewiring your brain. So basically, you can literally change the mind, the way you think, and brainwash your mind into something that's not present and true at the moment, but can become the part of your reality just because of your self talk and your own beliefs in that. But that cannot happen without your own self awareness, self acceptance, and that fire within you. Because, of course, like I mentioned, 99% of the people think like that. They are negative self talkers, they are negative believers, they are negative thinkers. But then you are the one who has to take the responsibility back and say to yourself that, you know what, Chiveria, it's not going to happen. I cannot let my life to be mediocre. I have to come out of the situation. I have to take the charge of my life and be a certain way. I don't just want to sit here and do nothing and keep on doubting my own, life. That's not how it works. You are the hero of your own life. You cannot change your perception about yourself until you really want it. So now the choice is yours, whether you want to actually work towards it or you are just gonna sit there and let everything go with the flow. And you're like, this is how my life was destined to be. My mother always said this to me, that you make your own decisions and you make your own destiny. Nobody else can help you if you can't help yourself and if you're not ready to take the power back. So, no blame games. Let's get that started. What are positive affirmations and how they basically work? Do they actually work? Of course, they do. So, self affirmations, positive affirmations are the important statements that you say to yourself that increases the reassurance within you and also improves the self-esteem and self-efficacy along with self-integrity and self-discipline in your life. So there are tons of research is done on it. There's so many social psychologists who have worked on it, and how we have the capability, the universe has put everything in our brains, in our own selves, to change the circumstances. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, I was born poor. You can't have that scarcity mindset that, you know what, I was born poor and my father or mother did not have enough money, so I'll also sit with this kind of thought and I'll just keep on suffering the whole life because that's how my life is supposed to be. No, please come out of this mind shift. Please, for your own sake. So now you actually have to say the affirmations, repeat the affirmations every morning and evening a couple of times. I'll discuss the strategies that I personally used to make them work. While you're saying those affirmations to yourself, you're like, Okay, this sounds so bizarre, especially when you're a chronic negative thinker or negative talker. You just, you're like, what's happening? What am I even saying to myself? And maybe you're not even able to look at yourself saying it. It was like, oh, Javeria, come on. What are you even talking about? But then with repeated practice, it becomes the part of your life, and your brain actually starts believing in it until your conscious mind starts to work towards it to make it true. There's a research, there's MRI evidence suggesting that certain neural pathways are increased when people practice self-affirmation tasks. If you want to be super specific, the vertical prefrontal cortex involved in positive valuation and self-related information processing becomes more active when we consider our personal values. So there is a story time related to the same thing. There was a very famous author, teacher, and lecturer, Louise Hay. She has written an amazing bestseller book. She is also a survivor of abuse and domestic violence for so many years. She in 1970s she survived a cervical cancer through non-medical interventions like positive affirmations, positive self-talk, gratitude, and some dietary changes. She then lived up to 90 years of her life. And in her interview, she can't emphasize enough on the talk that we do to ourselves and how healing that could be. And she stressed that most of the diseases that we put into our own body is due to our own thinking, is due to our own negativity from the surroundings. Though this woman suffered through abuse and domestic violence, but she decided to change and heal her life and health through the way she took the things on her and through the way she spoke to herself, because literally each and every organ in your brain and in your body is listening to what you say. I'm sharing some examples on the screen for positive affirmations. You can just pause the screen for a bit and read them. I even know friends who actually literally changed their life by getting their dream jobs through affirmations, by getting their dream husband through affirmations, and some of them also lost a ton of weight through affirmations. Yes, that's true. So right on my screen, you'll see a video telling you how to get a dream husband.
I am wanted, I am loved, I am happily married to a kind, loving, and spiritual minded man. I am secure and fulfilled.
So by repeating this daily, your subconscious mind will actually start making you feel lovable and worthy until your conscious mind follows towards working on your self perceptions and your self beliefs. Literally, lowest self esteem and beliefs that you hold about yourself also hold the potential within you to achieve your dream life. Now, talking about the beliefs, let's talk about strong self belief versus limiting self beliefs. Self belief is basically your state of mind and perception about yourself. Now, I will not go into details of how basically self beliefs or limiting self beliefs are created. Um, that's one situation that, maybe it was because of childhood trauma, maybe because it was the conditioning that your parents gave. Maybe it was because of the relationship between the parents, the family dynamics, the people that you hung out with, the teachers, the school, the environment, or maybe it was just innate. Of course, that's all there. But then, you, when you grow up, you have to realize that you can have the power to heal your body, your life, your health, your everything through the power of your mind, your subconscious mind. That's a powerful thing. Limiting self beliefs sound like I'm a loser, I'm a failure, I'm not worthy of love. You keep on doubting your own potential. You're like, maybe I'm not confident enough, I'm too old, I'm too young to do this. Oh, and the the worst part is to compare yourself with others. Like, you know why that girl is successful in her high school getting good grades is because she has um, some strong academic background from her parents, and her parents give her time. Again, you're blaming a circumstance and then comparing yourself with that other person. Or, you know, why that girl is so successful in her business and entrepreneur sure venture is because she has money to invest in, and I don't have any money. Again, an excuse, a blame game, and comparison. Please, for God's sake, stop comparing yourself with others. It's not going to do any good to you. That's the biggest thief of joy, and that is limiting your potential and achieve your higher self. That's not literally you. Just throw it away, throw it outside the window. Therefore, it's very, very important to be self aware, self acceptance, and recognize those cognitive biases. That's very important. And that's where the work of positive affirmations come in. It breaks the cognitive and the stereotypical biases, preconceived notions, and limiting self beliefs that you have about yourself. You can literally change your life and perspective about your life through one important technique, which is trending these days a lot, and it's known as visualization. And for achieving the success and the goals that you always desire is through visualizing yourself as the most empowered one. Write down what you actually want to be like in next 6 months, or maybe in 1 year, or maybe next 5 years. Just write that down on a piece of paper or a journal, and start pretending as if you have already achieved that, and you're that version in reality. Start pretending, start feeling that feels. For example, if you ever want to be a fit, empowered, successful woman, start acting like one. Wake up early, go work out to be that fit, eat healthy, have meaningful connections, meet with people who are as empowered as you, dress well, dress for success. You know what? If I don't have a vision to be a community service provider, I wouldn't have started this YouTube channel. For now, it's nothing, but I'm already envisioning myself to be somebody who is going to bring an impact in the society through this YouTube channel. Someday, I might have a big amount of subscribers who will take advantage of the wordings and the knowledge that I'm spreading across to them. This is my vision, and I have already started uh, uh, walking on the footsteps of those well renowned speakers, or the psychologists, or the community service providers who are doing such great work in the community. So, why not start today? Why not defeat our self-limiting beliefs about ourselves? So start pretending if that you're already there, and in no time you'll actually be there, because your mind will start working towards those goals. Your subconscious mind doesn't know what is the reality or the facts. It's you who make them do what you want them to do, who create your own reality. Take the charge. So now let's talk about my strategies of how I incorporated those affirmations in my life, and they literally work. So number one is to write down what is the area of life that you really want to be thriving. And it could be your relationship, it could be your own self-love, it could be your career, your you know, your marital goals. It could be anything. Just write it down. Think. Give yourself some time. Think, what is that area, or what are those areas of life that you really want to be successful. Then write down the affirmations on the piece of a paper or on your journal related to them, and repeat those affirmations every morning and every evening for 3 to 5 minutes in front of the mirror. At first, like I mentioned, if you're a chronic uh, you know, a self negative talker, is not going to be magical at all within just 2 weeks or a week. You have to be consistent with it. You can't just stop it and you'll be like, oh, it's not working. I've been saying my affirmations, I'm this, I'm that for the last 2 weeks. My life is still the same. It's not changing. I'm still a loser. No, you have to give it some time. You have to trust the process. You have to stick by it, because it's not some joke. It's not going to just take it's not a magical pill. It's not some headache pill that you're gonna take and you're gonna get fine within 2-3 hours. No, it's literally rewiring and retuning your brain, and it takes a lot of patience, and it takes tuning your own self perception and self belief, and of course it takes some time, so you have to trust the process. Give your mind a pep talk. I know there's so many thoughts that cross our mind, and those many thoughts are mainly negative, and that's where your self-awareness come in, and you have to shut your brain there and then. You have to be conscious about the thoughts that you're getting. Shut them down, even if the thoughts are true, even if you believe them to be true. For example, if that thought is about somebody that you know, my so and so, my boss is so rude, he's so mean, he always does this to me, he does it deliberately, and even if that's true, but this is not harming your boss. This kind of self-talk is only harming your own self and your true potential to show what you're capable of to your boss. Because ultimately, in the long run, you're not going to feel like working with that boss. But if your thought process is positive and you take every direction in a positive way, and every circumstance as a part of learning, then eventually maybe your boss would also realize that he's being unfair if he's a good person. Change the ways, and if not, then universe will bring you different scenarios, situation in ways that will be definitely in your favor, because your heart was full, and you will be sleeping very peacefully, and you will have contentment in your life just because of these thoughts. Trust me. So yeah, give your mind a pep talk. Start with, I can achieve this. I can do this. I definitely can do this. Sticky notes, reminders, or creating affirmation posters. You can hang them, or maybe stick the notes on the mirror of your office. Sorry, on the desk of your office, on the mirror of your bedroom, on the walls of your bathroom, wherever they are visible. So they literally work. And for me, I started using an app. I still use it. It's known as I Am app. I Am is about positive affirmations. You install it, you choose the areas of life that you're most focused on, and you can set that up on your lock screen or on your home screen, and it literally um, keeps on showing you affirmations related to that area that you have chosen though throughout the day. So when I'm distressed, I'm thinking negative about something, and pop, a new affirmation comes in, and that's where I'm like, oh wow, that was so relatable, and it literally changes the perspective of my thinking about a certain situation. Another one is 333 method, triple three method. Choose what you want to create in your life, the focus, write it down 33 times, and keep on repeating it for 3 days. Change my name if it doesn't work. This is my personal experience. Um, and don't forget, while you're writing affirmations, don't forget 3 P's. They should be in present tense. Never say I'm going to have or I will have. Saying this in future tense will keep it in future. Saying that I have, even for example, I live in a beautiful house, even though you're living in a dumpster, doesn't mean that's not true, but it means that it's germinating the seed for that beautiful big tree that you're definitely going to get in the future. So that's how your self belief should be. Number 2 is it has to be personal, it has to be persistent, it has to be consistent, like I spoke about it above, and positive. It should be positive. My entire video can't emphasize enough on this word positive. Stay positive, stay focused. It has to be positive. I can't stress enough on the importance of journaling and how can we use journaling to help the positive affirmations work rapidly, fastly, and in a an unexpected way in our lives. So our journal just went out. I remember a few years back, I would just write down whatever the negativities would happen to me. I was like, this happened, that happened. I feel like crying. I feel emotional. That was just me projecting my feelings on a piece of paper rather than projecting my emotions on others, like anger, sadness, anxiety. I just did not want to hurt myself enough. So I started writing. After when I studied about positive affirmations, and after when I got to know how they literally have the power to change and heal your life, then I started writing affirmations on the journal and making the affirmations through my journal prompts day and night. I started doing it twice a day. So I decided that I'm not going to complain, I'm not going to vent out, I'm only going to focus on the positivities that happen in my life. So generally, it's like focus on the donut and not on the hole. So on this screen, I am going to share some positive journal prompts that you can take a screenshot of, and they will literally help you in forming the affirmations. You can see the affirmations written in the bottom as well that I have formed through these positive journal prompts. Remember, affirmations are not just the words, they are all about emotions. So, whenever you say them, just not say them, feel them. Feel the emotions coming and radiating through those words. For example, when you're saying, I love myself, just don't say them. Feel the warmth and the radiation of self love washing over you, hugging you when you're saying them. And you will literally feel your life changing for the better and you cultivating love for yourself. This is just one example that you can use in any area of the life. So before that I wind up, this is for anyone who needs to hear this. You're lovable, you're worthy, you're beautiful, you're glowing, you're successful, you're abundant. You don't have to worry. Things will definitely be going to be okay. With that, don't forget to subscribe my channel, The Positive Journey, and do not forget to comment on this video below for any sort of suggestions, viewpoints, opinions, or any topics that you would like me to talk about. Feel free. Thank you so much. Until next time.